Hello and welcome to another Starcraft 2 commentary video with Gom Jabbar. That's me at the bottom of Metalopolis. And my opponent is going to be Vince Eats Foe, who is a Terran player. And I'm going to do this video from my own perspective here. And we're just going to watch the game, and I'm going to go through some of my decision making in PvT. This is not the first decision-making video I've done, and I feel like this is going to be a kind of a different take on it. So lately I've been messing around with this one gateway fast expand against Terran, which I showed off in my last video, and we will see a variation of it here. But I am just scouting around. And I will get that gateway at 12 supply or 13 supply, which is coming down right now. So a key thing about this game that I do want to show off is how you react to scouting, and particularly what you should do against different Terran strategies. In my last Terran decision-making video, I showed off well, pretty much all of my videos I've showed off some bio stuff, some bio tank stuff. There's a whole range of things Terran can do, and we're going to see something right here. So I'm making sure my build order doesn't get messed up, and I'm scouting around. I see one barracks, no add-on, and I see no gas geysers. So what no gas means is that almost certainly he's doing a one barracks fast expansion. Maybe he's doing a pure marine kind of aggression style, but that's pretty rare. So I'm camping out at his natural expansion. And unfortunately I delayed my cybercore a little longer than I wanted to. I screwed up the build. But it's not going to make a big difference. So the style that I do, which is this one gateway expansion, is pretty strong against what he's doing. And I do want to save that probe. You know, I can get a lot more powerful units out earlier than he can if he's going for a no-gas expansion. So it will work out pretty well. And now I'm supply blocked, which delays my attack even more. This is just a really bad execution of this build, I swear. It's not going to matter too much, but ideally I should be, like, I should have the stalker already out pretty much, because the cybercore was delayed, I was supply blocked, and it's all just a mess. Anyway, I am going to attack. And I do want to scout a bit with this guy to make sure that he's expanding. Now I want to rally them up by the Mech statue, because I don't want them to be shot at from the ledge in the Terran's main. Now this was a mistake. Normally you throw down the Nexus right now, which I definitely should have done, but instead of that, I threw down 2 gateways in a robo, and I'm just not going to produce out of them. So that was really just a bad play on my part. Anyway, so here's the Nexus going down, only slightly later than the Terran's expansion, and I'm not really worried about falling behind here. I'm just going to put a pylon up here. It'll spot when he decides to take his third, and maybe I'll get some harassment out of it. Not a bad decision to put pylons all over the map. And at this point, I'm just chrono boosting the Nexus. I know he went for a gasless expansion, and yeah, he's not really going to be aggressive for a while. You can't have Marauders very quickly. And making sure my observer gets over to his base very quickly. I do like to chrono boost my observers. So here is the Nexus. And if we quickly look over at the Income tab, I am actually ahead on workers because of the Chrono Boost. And now I'm going to go for my go-to strategy, which is Double Forge. I want to Chrono Boost constant upgrades from your forges, and now I'm transferring my workers down. Now I scout out the Terran. I see a tech lab on a factory, only 2 barracks, and I know he expanded quickly. What this tells me is that he's going for a heavy mech play. It's possible he's going to swap the tech lab onto a starport and go for delayed Banshees, but it's not likely. But because of that likelihood, I will start another observer right here. Yep, there's my second observer. And just in case he's going for a hidden starport or something, not really worried that much. And yeah, using my zealot to harass a bit always helps. And we're about even on the worker count, so the expansions were pretty much at the same time. Chrono boosting upgrades. I actually didn't have quite enough gas that I thought I would. I need to make more zealots in the early game. Now I see an armory. An armory for the Terran this early definitely means Thors, I think, because I don't see any siege tanks yet. So Thors can be hard to deal with. If the Terran like maxes out on Thors and gets strike cannon with Vikings to defend against carriers, it's pretty hard composition to fight. So I'm getting a little worried here. But let me share with you the decision that will win you the game against this kind of thing. Massive supply block here, actually, that's pretty bad. Anyway, the thing with a Terran going mech is that Thors and tanks are really immobile units. They're very slow. You have to make a very methodical push across the map in order to succeed with mech play. And what this means is that I need to take my third base really quickly. We're going to see that pretty shortly. Also, my spotter pylon at the top left can detect when he's going for his third base, and so I'll be ready for that. I have those stalkers up there in case of drops or banshees, but at this point I believe it's yeah, I'm spotting everything. I don't really see a starport. I see more factories in use, so I'm not really worried about drops. With if they're going for mech, there's not going to be that many drops. Another thing against mech is that you do want a lot of zealots and immortals. I'm chrono boosting immortals out of that robo. Definitely very useful to get immortals, as we will see. And here's my third base going down. 10 minutes into the game. That's a pretty early third, especially against Terran, but it's not really. It's something you really need to do here. I'm sending a zealot in for more harassment. He's still got like a bunch of bunkers, which is odd. You'd think that the Terran would salvage those. Now, why did I get the robotics support bay? I don't know necessarily if it was the right decision. Colossi do outrange every mech unit except tanks, and they're pretty good against tanks anyway. So a lot of people do like Colossus against mech, and I don't mind it, but yeah, you'll see that I'm not going to make much use of the support bay. It's better, I think, to just get constant immortals. I'm getting more upgrades from my forges, getting more gateways. Again, I'm massively supply locked here. That's a problem for me. But I can see that he hasn't taken his third yet, and I have the watchtower in the center, so I know the instant he's going to move out. And I'm not too worried. I also have an observer between our bases by air, so if he's going for a drop, I am aware of that. And now I scout out his Thors. As I said, Thors are very immobile, they're very slow units, and I can just take a bunch of bases without worrying about it. And there's my third going up, and transfer workers over there. Now I'm getting charge for my zealots. Large numbers of charge lots can be pretty good against Thors in the same way that Zerglings are good against Thors, but you do need a lot of them. So keep that in mind. Making more workers, always a good thing. At this point, it might have been smart to get a second robo facility, but well, we'll see. Yeah, I see that there is no expo yet. I'm going to send in another scouting zealot. Send him behind the mineral line so he is out of range of the bunkers this time. And I love chrono boosting robo bays that are supply blocked. Very stupid of me. I think I just sent 4 guys to that gas guys there, but oh well. That zealot just doing a little bit of distraction. Little map control. And now I can see on the mini-map that he is getting his 3rd base. Mine is substantially earlier, actually, so I'm really happy right now with the way this game is going. Getting more upgrades. I'm just about at 2-2. And I'm supply blocked again. How about that? And charge has just finished. I need to spend my minerals, so I'm getting more gateways. More upgrades. Getting 3-2. Or that might be 3-3, I'm not sure. Anyway. And now more immortals. I'm gonna just start making them. And taking my 4th base. So in my 4th base, as it's coming out at the same time as his 3rd, I can feel very confident that I'm going to win this game. I'm getting lots and lots of zealots. Thors are good against stalkers, but not much else in the Protoss army. So there's another Robo Bay. There's a range upgrade. I just have the money for that, and I'm getting close to maxed, so I'm just going for it. I've got a little bit of excess gas, you notice, and that's going to happen all throughout this game. Immortals are very mineral heavy, and if you're going for zealots and immortals, which are good counters against Thors, you're going to have a gas pileup. So I probably should have taken guys off of the gas geysers and mining minerals. Even so, getting just a few cannons in case of drops or anything like that. You don't need a lot of cannons against Terran. Like if it's Zerg, you definitely do because of the possibility of aggression, and they're very speedy units. He will spot this pylon and take it out. But I'm maxed, so it's not really a big deal. And because I'm maxed, I'm going to attack. If you're maxed out and you have 200 supply, you really just, there's no reason not to attack. I mean, you have your army that's just sitting there. And as I am maxed, I'm going to make a lot more gateways and robos so that I can remax very quickly. A little bit oversaturated at this base, so I'm going to transfer them. And I'm actually going to take a 5th base, because why the heck not? Time to attack. I've got my infrastructure prepared for remaxing. And this Terran really likes to scan me, but he hasn't really done much with that information, I guess. Even so, he is actually maxed himself. And here comes the engagement. I don't have a large number of zealots, and my immortals are getting a little stuck in the back here, but even so, they're doing an insane amount of damage against the Thors. Unfortunately, my minerals are a bit low, so it's a little hard for me to remax on Thors, or on immortals. But not really a big deal. Immortals are really good against Thors. Yeah, I'm just going to go ahead and attack some more. And I gotta go back to my base in macro. I now have something like 4 robo bays constantly pumping immortals. You might think that you can't actually support that much, along with like 10 gateways or whatever, but you don't need to make out of the gateways because you want to counter the Thors. So I just, obviously I'm making out of gateways too, but you want to constantly make out of all those robo bays, and those Thors are just going to get eaten alive. And putting guys in these gas geysers is a little superfluous. Transferring workers to my 4th base, or 5th base at this point. And it takes longer to remake on Thors than it does Immortals, so I'm pretty confident. And at this point I'm going to go for a Stargate. Since I am going for these heavy Immortal counter to his Thors, he is not going to be making Vikings any longer. In fact, he's just going to be probably making Marines or something, I don't know. In any case, you know, he does want to make Vikings if I'm going for carriers, which is a good response to Thors. But I already showed him the Immortals, and I'm still making them. So he's not going to be prepared for carriers, and then I'll switch to them later, and I'll be in pretty good shape. So as soon as I'm maxed again, I'll just attack again. The Sentry is not doing a whole lot in my army mix, but Guardian Shield is still very strong, and not a whole lot of reason not to get it. Especially with all my charge lots, if he is going for Marines to counter my Immortals, Guardian Shield, as well as the 3 armor upgrade for Zealots, makes them basically invulnerable to Marines. So I'm pretty happy. Here comes his army. It's being unusually aggressive for a 164 supply Terran army, but he doesn't know that I have 5 bases up, so it's kind of understandable. And here he goes. He has a little more bio than he might have, but it's not exactly a big deal. Immortals are good against Marauders, too, believe it or not. So, I mean, as soon as his bio is dead, I have, like, 10 Immortals. And they have their name for a reason. I'm getting the shield upgrade once my 3-3 is finished. No reason to get shield until last. I mean, they can just EMP you, and then your shield upgrade is kind of worthless. Just about remaxed. I'm going to go ahead and start a fleet beacon for carriers. Making sure to spend my chrono boost, and time to attack. I could probably take like the gold base at this point, but you know, I'm so far ahead it doesn't exactly matter. And my opponent leaves the game. So, quick review. I scouted his gasless fast expansion. I did my own fast expansion. I scouted Mech with my observers. I started pumping Immortals and Charge Zealots. I got double Forge for upgrades, which is always a good idea, I think. And I took a 3rd and 4th base really quickly, because Terran Mech is so immobile. I can do that, and it's fine. Especially Thors. If it was tanks, I might be a little worried about an earlier push, but Thors are just not... He's not going to push until he has a good number of them, because small numbers of Thors are pretty bad. So, that's beating Terran who goes for Mech. Thanks for watching.